All right, it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday, February 26th, and this is the Public Works meeting for February. I am gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call. We have everybody here. I need a motion to approve the agenda and the January 22nd minutes.
So moved.
Is that first and a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any changes or questions on it?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Public comments, we got nobody.
Correct.
Number 7, Department of Public Works report. Ben.
Okay, so we'll kind of start, general public works right now. Obviously look outside right now, it looks like spring's in the air. Obviously we still keep everything ready. You never know when the weather can change. It's March is coming. But so far we've had a good year. We're got our fill of salt coming for the rest of this year, so we'll be in definitely good shape of salt moving into next year. We did have a little trouble with one of our plow trucks, which I also use it for the sucker truck. Have that up to mid-state truck right now. It's got a sensor and a flow sensor getting repaired, $1,500, $2,000. So all within repair budget. But other than that, everything's been good in the cold days. We've been in the shop doing a little bit of painting, a little maintenance, cleaning the parks, getting things ready. When the weather's good, we've been out doing some tree trimming out on Port Road. We also marked some of the ash trees that last year we thought were going to survive over the summer, and unfortunately this year the bark's starting to come off them. A lot of them up on 4th Street, north of Tyler Avenue. So in the next week or two, we're going to be cleaning up those trees. Also on Verbunker, I call it the Days Old House corner of 3rd and on Verbunker. We've got a big maple branch that's kind of hanging over the road. We're going to limb up that. And also there's a couple other low hanging branches down Verbunker that we're going to get trimmed up. For one thing, as the garbage trucks and things go through town, they're hitting them. And the second is with the road project coming this summer with the milling, the paving. We're definitely the utility and the workers are going to be hitting them. So we're going to get those trimmed up here in the next couple of weeks. Before I go on the rest of it, does anybody have any questions on what Public Works is doing now? Anything that's going on that concerns residents or anything? I think snow plowing is good. I haven't had any complaints. Guys did a good job. We've had limited amount of sidewalks that weren't getting shoveled, so the residents did a good job. That's always kind of a nightmare going around after the snowstorm, but we had a good year so far. So
You really didn't burn through much salt, did you?
no, a couple of them icy storms earlier we got, but yeah, no, like I said, we're still probably 15 ton left in there, and we're getting another 45, 50 ton, depending on how the load trucks get loaded. So, on an average year, we burn, every year changes, right? I mean, some years it's 50, some years it's 80, depending on the weather. But definitely the more we scrape, I know I've got questions, a couple of the 2-3 inch storms, we went out and scraped them because if we scrape them, that's less salt. And obviously that's the environmental right side, the DNR and other things, as you listed. I mean, everybody's trying to cut down the amount of salt. And so for us, for our little small village, I mean, that brine stuff, it wouldn't pay for us to get involved in that. So if we can scrape a little bit more, the price of blades, the price of overtime will definitely make up. So that's why, 2.5, 3 inches, we're going to scrape them. Sun comes out, afternoon, the roads are bare. That's kind of our plan to eliminate the amount of salt we use. Back in the day when we let 2-3 inches stack up on the road, then you have to go back and salt it because it would just get packed and get slippery. So that's kind of our theory right now, to plow a little bit more and keep the road scraped down. Moving into the next summer projects. I think last month I brought you guys the Wood County estimated totals. Obviously our big project right now is Verbunker Avenue from Brentwood Drive to Fish Street. That piece hasn't been milled and paved. If you drive in now, there's definitely a lot of potholes. The guys did go out the other day and fill some potholes. I'm going to try to limit the amount of repair work we do that, just to put the expense in road that we're going to mill and pave, but that's definitely needs it. So this year's kind of been budget wise, we've been working towards it. So mill and paving, estimate at 115. Road paint, after we're done doing that center line in the bike lane, just under 7,000. We've got 2 culvert pipes that run underneath Ripple Creek Park that we're going to be lining those all underground work, so we're not digging above ground. We've got sewer water. That changing them pipes would be a big expense. So lining them is 14.5 estimate total. So And then we're looking at doing our normal $25,000 worth of chip seal, kind of waiting for the roads to clear up, drive around. I've got a couple in mind. Levine's got some issues. Try to see which roads need that, chip seal. We did a lot last year, definitely did more than we normally did, all subdivisions. Obviously did that, so now we do a bunker this year. We're not driving those trucks back on bunker, beating it up. If you look at the total, I've got 161. Obviously, budget line for that was only 150, but we're gonna use a 50-50 Wood County grant money since it's grant projects. So we get a refund back of 29,000. So that gets us at 132. That still gives us some wiggle room. Patch material, there's still other things that come out of that Roads and Street budget line to hit the 150 budget estimate. So I feel pretty good about that, using up those funds that I've been kind of talking to you guys about. Before we go on the next line, does anybody have any questions on for bunker? I'm working with Wood County, trying to get a timeline. When we get a timeline, we'll send a letter to the residents, letting them know. Obviously, the culvert repair with if the water and everything stays down and things, we're thinking about doing that in May. Because that'll help with what we gotta do at Ripple Creek. Obviously, when the rain comes, Ripple Creek goes up. The milling and paving, I'm thinking it's gonna be when school's out. That's what I'm pushing for. So June and July. So the road's not so busy. Obviously, milling and paving, we don't shut nothing down. I mean, it's an uneven lane. It's a wide road, so you're definitely, traffic's gonna still be able to continue down that road during that project.
So the chip seal, you have at 25.
Yep.
How much do we have in the wheel tax?
The wheel tax, it's been in the 40s, give or take.
So are you gonna chip seal anything else or just?
I'll be quite honestly, I'm hoping we can dump some more. I'm hoping that these estimates at the 115, that we're gonna see that estimate come down a little bit, and then be able to bump that chip seal up closer to the $40,000. But I don't want to, we're gonna get the for bunker project done, the million paving, then chip seal always comes after that. So I'll have $40,000 worth of work bidded, but I just want to keep it on the worst scenario that it'd only be 25, but I do believe we're gonna be able to do better than that, but I don't wanna budget, spend more than we have right now.
Well, that's just, I mean, it's always earmarked for road projects, so I just don't wanna get
Yep.
sucked into something else.
So you're saying that the wheel tax gets 40,000 a year?
Yeah, so what we did, the wheel tax, I did a chip seal plan. I will hand that out when we have the new committee structure. If you guys don't have that, basically a 5-year chip seal. Every year we were spending about $40,000 in chip seal. So that was our wheel tax money that we planned every year. So every resident was able to see where their wheel tax money went to. But last year, again, we spent almost $70,000 in chip seal. So we went above that $40,000. So I feel I can justify it if we need to this year. But again, I'm trying to be at that 40 grand to cover that wheel tax, like Chairman Saylor said, because that definitely was a thought on it. But last year we went above, so.
So what does $25,000 get? How many?
It'll depend on the road, it goes on width, goes on shape. We could do a double layered, single contact. I guess for an example, when we did Port Road one year, we did one lane of Port Road from Seneca all the way to 54, because the town of Port was at the other side. One lane on that, and our cost was $42,000.
Okay.
So, obviously we're hoping on this to do, I call it street blocks. My goal is to do Island Avenue from 3rd to 4th. That's getting
Okay.
pretty shot there. And then maybe looking at doing, in front of the fire department here, starting at River Drive, running down to Market. I think those 2 roads for sure could be done and do within the $25,000.
It just gives me a ballpark.
Yeah,
Those 2 would be about 25,000,
yes.
3rd to 4th on Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still waiting for the oil price. Obviously the oil price is what drives up the chip.
And that's
seal.
just the asphalt or the tar and then the
Stone.
yeah.
Yep, correct. And once I get some, again, in the next two meetings, I'll be able to give us a better breakdown. I just wanted, I'll get some numbers from
Okay,
the chip seal and give you guys a better idea.
thank you. Is it the wheel tax going just for chip seals?
Yeah, it goes in our general, basically the streets project budget line. Basically, we have it as the general puts this in there, and then underneath it shows the wheel tax. Basically, wheel tax goes into the general public works budget, and then it gets broke down, but we definitely show
Okay.
so how it's itemized, but it definitely goes right to the public works budget. That
So
was,
okay, it'll cover sidewalks or any of that?
yeah, it's in the general, but we try to itemize and show it to the public, hey, that,
Yep.
to me, when you're paying a wheel tax, everybody should be able to see what they're paying for. That's why chip seal Not everybody likes it, but at least when they drive through the rocks and hear cling on their car, they know that their wheel tax went somewhere. Any more questions on
No,
that?
thank you.
So our Village 400 account, that's the account this year we're able to dump, $60,000 into it. You know, it's something we haven't been able to. Obviously, and we had, a surplus of 40,000 in that. So basically with that, we're gonna be doing that, culvert lining, the rest of that, the culvert lining is two line items. And then the rip rack on the wall, the south side, basically it has is we used to take curb and gutter and rip it out and build a wall on it, stack it on top of each other straight up. That wall's starting to cave on. It'd be on the south side of Verbunker, Ripple Creek, where the culvert's gonna go. And we're gonna put the 12 to 16-inch round stone, build a retaining wall with a 2-to-1 pitch after we line that pipe. If you don't remember last month, I brought to you guys that culvert lining can be used as a Wood County 50/50 grant. Unfortunately, how that goes is we apply for it this year, and hopefully if we get accepted, we get the 50/50 back next year. So that total project, we did submit to Wood County for the 50/50 grant, which was a total of $114,000. So you know, definitely hoping that we get that grant money back and put that money back in the 400 account. And obviously, like I said, that money does not come until the 2026 budget, but have all the paperwork sent into Wood County, just waiting for approval, which we'll know in July if we got that grant. We have the money now to do the project. It just takes that 400 account and it's gonna deplete it. But then hopefully we can put that grant money back in there and then look to next year of putting some more money in there to do bigger projects. As we talk about, I mean, that's the struggle here. Moving forward is being able to put money in our 400 account to do bigger projects. You know, heavier budget time, that's a big talk, how we can put money in there. We did a good job this year putting 60 in there. Unfortunately, it's coming out right away, but we're able to do it. You know, every year I'm gonna keep striving to debate a budget projects so we can do them without having to borrow, do anything against our tax levy to do projects. So it's a challenge, but we're gonna keep working after it. Anybody have any questions on the culvert lining, the riprap?
Wasn't there gonna be some leftover from the legacy for the riprap? The
Um,
legacy grant?
The legacy grant, because we did the bike trail last year. Which one you talking? The new one we applied or the old one?
Did you, one of the legacy grants, I thought you said there was gonna be some leftover money that was gonna be used at Ripple?
Yeah, so, obviously the bike trail money, we repaved that piece last year from, Verbunker to Bruner Avenue out of the legacy. And plus redoing the project with the Port Road is definitely gonna deplenish that. But when I applied this year for the new legacy for Ripple Creek, of the new playground equipment, we also threw $100,000 in there for repaving the walking path around there. And other things we can do to improve the park. So we could definitely, you know, if we were able to get the playground equipment done, the paving done, and there's extra money, we could definitely apply that to this. You know, depending when that grant is gonna get, let us know here normally end of February, March, they'll let us know if you made it to the next stage of that. So, nothing's earmarked for that, but definitely it's all for Ripple Creek, so we could definitely use it if we had to try to, not spend all of our 400 account. I mean, I don't wanna spend the 400 account. So when we do our normal billing through Diane and I, we try to spend the budget line first, do the 400 last, you know. But obviously, when we start a budget, we need to make sure we have the money there, so. It's kind of the big summer projects. Any questions on those two projects? And those are all Wood County, is gonna be doing the work, and those are Wood County projects. Our TIF run project at, last year's expenditures, we had to have, signed, dotted and all that stuff last September. Is part of that Second Street, complete rebuild, which starts on Second and Edwards and runs up through Alexander this year. If you guys remember, that's kind of a 3-year phase project that we had doing, you know, 300, 400, 500 a year, basically getting up to Alexander, then going up to, Monroe and then finishing up behind the shopping center. So this year, we'll be looking to start that project, hopefully get, Second Street done all the way up to past the, park, and then also get it tied into Alexander. So that'll be going this fun. I will be doing, the TIF funds. There was a change in our, revenue due to evaluation, decreasing the property, so I will be bringing that to FHR to give them a complete, breakdown of where our TIF funds, we were getting quick numbers here, we were getting 250,000 a year, and this year we got reducted down to 142. So we definitely took a hit in what we thought we were getting for TIFs. So it's gonna be, it still fits in our project. It's all good, but at the end of the day, we were hoping our TIF was gonna have some extra money to give back to like mid-state, the town, the school. Obviously, that's where the extra money was left and the TIF would go back to. But since we were cut down, due to DMI and some other evaluations, how much I'll give a complete breakdown how we get to that number so everybody understands it through the FHR and they can bring it to board meeting. But the project will go, it still have the money, but it's definitely tighter than what we expected. So good or bad, we talked about doing a lot of different things, borrowing money and other things, and we might have got ourselves in a little bit of issue if we would have borrowed all that money because we're changing in our payment. So any question on that project? Obviously, that project been signed. That's a done deal.
Actually, that's the last piece of Second Street, right?
Correct, up behind the shopping center.
Stage 3, supposedly.
Yep, and I'll be bringing up some more information underneath new business. The next step of that Second Street. But yes, that'll get us behind the shopping center, tied up. That final thing is to repave behind the shopping center. If you drove that, it's definitely getting rough. Water utility, kind of like to give you guys a breakdown of, knock on wood, right now, we've had just, one water main break up on Washington, back in January. So the paving's going to pave that patch after we're done. It'll be around $2,000. Before we do this main project for Bunker, we've got a 10-inch line that comes off of our a water tower, which goes to a 12-inch main. Last fall when Jason turned that valve, we had some issues. So we're gonna replace it. Before we repave the road, we know we have issues with the valve. It's time to replace it. It goes to the water tower. So, what'll happen is we'll do our, spring flushing of hydrants in town. Then we're gonna drain that water tower. We get an expected all the inside, which that's all part of our maintenance agreement that needs to be done. And we're gonna change that water valve at the same time, before we tackle that road. So hopefully we're not digging that road back up again.
How long is that tower on the Bunker gonna be empty?
It'd be down for a day or two. I mean, it's a yearly deal. Basically, Jason drains it, the company comes in, washes the inside, inspects it, fills it, gets us 2 clean water samples and goes back in. But the meantime, the little water tower will run the village fine. I mean, so it won't, we do this every 5 years, so there's no change in people's
That's
water.
fine. How often do we inspect the one down on?
Same one. It's all regulated through the DNR. I think every 5 years, the towers. Like right now, we don't use a little water tower in the winter. That tower gets drained when he does this fall flushing, we drain that tower. The little tower only is in the summer, Basically, that's towers for people that water their yards, and when ERCO uses high amounts of water in the summer due to cooling. Otherwise, that little tower is not in service. So we have that, and then fire hydrant, Port Road and Pleasant View. We had a leak out there. Had a resident call me, I think in November, that the hydrant was leaking. So since the bike trail is going through and everything going on at Port Road and Pleasant View, it's a time to change that fire hydrant because we're gonna be digging up the road, changing that stuff. So we're gonna be replacing that hydrant with a new hydrant. That's out there. So actually, we end up, if you know any of the street projects we do now, we take the hydrants off the corners and try to push them back 10 or 15 feet because as cars go around any radius, we've lost hydrants over the years. So any road project we do now, we got off the corner. So we'll actually take that hydrant and slide it down into North Deerage Drive, probably 5-10 feet to get it off that radius. Plus, like I said, it's leaking, so we gotta replace it anyway. Fortunately, kind of like with last year, we did the one on Bunker. If anybody, Bunker and Fifth Street used to be right in the corner, and we slid that down Bunker just to try to save any issues. So that all comes out of water utility, which it's within the budget, so no issues there. And again, knock on wood, hopefully things go good and we can keep the water utility where it's at. In the next couple of days, we're definitely could see, like I was talking to you guys back in January, the change, temperature, the ground's moving, we could definitely see some change in dirty water and things like that, but we're trying to keep everybody aware. We keep running water, the residents for freeze ups through March 15th, so we've got a lot of water moving through town right now to hopefully prevent any issues.
Do you ever see any issues with water mains when the frost is coming out?
Yeah, unfortunately, we this time of year, we'll see something. It's normal. The more we keep going right now, we're trying to keep things going, but I mean, it definitely happens. I mean, when the ground starts coming out, the ground's moving and so.
You can get issues when the frost is going in and coming out.
Yeah, I mean, winters are scary for when it comes to water lines.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and I'll update this kind of this will kind of keep getting updated through the next, every month, and we add a few things, change it, and like I said, we'll have a better idea hopefully in July on what we can do for chip seal, what we can do for that, but I'll definitely gonna bid more chip seal than what I know right now we have. So if we have the extra money, we can definitely put it in the roads. The last part of that, like I said, I kind of added the TIF funded to that, report. Is there any question on the TIF fund projects at all? Public Works Summer Help, we had 2 candidates that were, employed by the village last summer. Had no issues, talked to the crew. They both reapplied, so I did send them letters, telling them they do have employment here at the village of Port Edwards. Waiting for them to kind of a little sheet they signed to get back to us, knowing that they're, want to come back. So I don't see any issues. I haven't, put anything out there because the 2 that applied last year are coming back, so I didn't put any notice out to the public looking for anybody, because right now they're scheduled to come back. So with that, we also, in the summertime, we've been doing our 3rd year, I think we've been doing the 10-hour days that you guys are aware of. That'll start, obviously with the holidays, we don't pay overtime, so Memorial Day week, we work 8 hours that week because of the holiday pay. That following Monday, we'll start 10 hours. And then during the 4th of July, due to holiday pay, we work 8s that week. And then we're done by Labor Day. So there isn't any excess overtime on Fridays. One water utility between Jason and Ken, the water and sewer guy, they work. Myself works on Fridays, and if I'm on vacation, my relief Mark will work 8 hours so that we always have somebody on Friday, 2 guys on Friday, so that if something comes up on a Friday, we're not paying overtime if
Okay.
cemetery related, road related.
So it's 4 10s, Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday, yep. But always having a water and sewer guy and public works guy on Fridays. That's worked good. Projects we're able to get more sucking leaves and chipping brush. The guys are able to get going. So I feel we've had some cost savings from that. So. That's all I have for public works update unless anybody has any questions.
Number 8, anybody have any old business?
No.
New business.
So what I mentioned, Second Street, if you guys don't remember, as we were doing the budget, obviously the wastewater, we had the Clean Water Act grant, that we finalized the last payment last year on that. So, the utilities don't have any loans out, any grants, anything like that. That's all been taken care of with the wastewater plant. We're gonna be taking Second Street up to the shopping center here. Obviously, it's a main sewer line that runs through the village, plus a little tower. We have a water line that runs off the little tower. The next phase, we need to start at the shopping center. We have a pipe that runs underneath the shopping center here that we need to line and run all the way up to the bunker. Last year we did the bunker to the north, Second Street project up past McGrath's house, brand new. So we've been working, this has been the process for almost 10 years of basically, since that's a main water line through town, kind of, the little tower and sewer is getting the Clean Water Act grant, getting as much as we can for grants, low loans and different things. We've been applying for years. So I'm gonna work with MSA. Basically this year, we're gonna do a study, basically, obviously to applying for any of those grants. With the school being there and basically with the residents that live on the road, they gotta figure out the values. I didn't say it's not really a poverty thing, but it's a deal on, different aspects that they can review to see if we qualify for that grant, and how we can get our rates and what it's gonna go. So this, I'll be bringing probably in April. We'll be bringing MSA in and I'll have him tell you guys, I think it'd be about 5,000. That's what we budget this year, that they start, putting together. What's it gonna look like? What kind of funding can we get? What's out there? What kind of rate would it be? Obviously it's gonna be a big project. When you look at starting at the shopping center, running a bunker, it's gonna be in the millions, right? I mean, we know doing a half a block right now is 500,000. But if we can get some help from the wastewater, get some help from the water, do all this at once and get at a low rate, and hopefully the utilities, I mean, like I told you guys before, the goal is to get these utilities to be able to pay for the water line, the sewer line. Obviously we're gonna see here this year how the sewer does without having that loan payment. Hopefully we can get a smaller loan payment to do the sewer and the water, and then the general will just have to pay for the pavement, the storm sewer, and the curb and gutter on Second Street. My goal would be do that project in 2027. It'll take us a year to year and a half to get all this put together, right? And we gotta make sure we can afford it, you know, as we've all talked, we can take loans up, but we gotta make sure the general can afford it, the water department, the wastewater can afford the payments. And still be able to do emergency work and backup, so,
Is it $500,000 gonna be spent in 2025?
yes, sir, yes.
And what is that going to be spent on?
Sorry, I'm moving back, but you're talking out of the tip.
The TIP fund?
So that project right there is $1,000,001. This whole project starting at Edwards all the way to shopping center is $1,000,001. So the TIF that's gonna be a three-year project, because we're gonna do, the TIF only has so much because of
Yeah.
the money, so we're doing 500 this year. And then it's probably gonna actually, I'm working on that to bring the FHR to see if I'm gonna have to take it up 4 years, but every year we do $300,000 to $500,000 worth of work.
And that
kind of.
in April, you bring in MSA, that will be to supplement some of this?
No, that's a whole
Project.
different project. This is starting the shopping center running to the north.
Okay,
This is a whole new project.
and the other one, the MSA would be from the shopping center to Alexander?
That's already done. We've already bidded this, accepted a contract. This one's already done. This has already been paid.
What is the money that MSA funding? What would that?
That would start the shopping center, run all the way up to the bunker. The $5,000 would be to start doing the research to see what loans are out there, what our payments would be, what mechanisms we
Or the
can use.
1.1 million total?
No, this would be for, we haven't even started putting numbers on how much it costs to start here and go to the north.
Okay,
This was a whole new project that we'd start looking into.
okay, I'll catch up with you. just
Yeah,
so we
this from
understand.
this way to the south, we've already bidded it. That's already
What's the
done deal.
cost from here to the Alexander?
This one here is $1,000,001.
Okay, that's the 1.1.
Yeah, I believe this is gonna be on, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but we're probably looking at 3,000,000
Okay,
to go from here all the way up to the bunker. I mean, that's a long stretch, go
Yeah,
past
it
the
is.
high school,
it is.
the water tower. I mean, if you remember, we did the sewer line across the football field. We did some alleyways. I call by Jim Elijah by Washington. We did a lot of alleyways. We were trying to tie it all in. So now when we run, that's the main sewer line. Basically, all the sewer from the north end of town comes down Second and goes all the way down here to Second, goes down Edwards through the DMI property down to the wastewater plant. So this is our main wastewater
And
line.
Fifth Street was a total rebuild, right?
Correct.
All the way down. So that one cost about, cause that was all the way from here, all the way to Bunker.
Yeah, and that one right there, we did 3 sections. I mean, that was almost 2,000,000. We were doing 500.
So as comparison, then it's
Double, right? 4, yeah.
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So that 500,000 in 2025 is to pay for this.
One section.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yep.
that's fine.
Starting at Edwards coming this way.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
which there can't be much left back here behind after this is done.
We're in good shape. We'd have First Street would be your next issue over here, but we'll have all, if you look at it, we look at Third Street, we repaved up from basically Wisconsin River Drive to Vabunker. From Vabunker down, we did some rebuild all the way down. We rebuilt all this water line, sewer line. So yes, Third Street has pretty much been rehabbed north to south. And Second, we started up, we did Monroe last year by McGrath, and now we're gonna be continuing this. We left, the middle piece left, right? And that's the big one. And, you wanna get into it when you talk about lead and things like that, we have a lead line that comes off the little water tower, right? I've been there 15 years ago and we changed the valve and we've got lead water line that run down Second. So we're also looking at getting some grant money for lead, right? I mean, there's a lot of mechanisms out there. That's why we need to start planning this, right? It's gonna be a big question and a big decision, but I'm trying to start
Okay.
early enough so we can definitely bring some good research.
so that will begin the planning going north.
Yeah, like I said, it wouldn't be to 2027. Hopefully this year is just starting to see what's out there for funding so we can start planning. So that'll come in the next meeting. And like I said, probably April, I'm working with MSA, getting some information so when they come here, they can explain to us what they're gonna be doing. So we have more detail where. So that's the only thing, like I said, right now, that's the only thing I have coming up and that will be probably in April.
Okay, does anybody else have any new business? No? Anybody received any correspondence? No. Agenda items for next meeting.
This street project update, it'll be a comment, and it'll just, I'll just keep bringing you guys so you're aware of where the numbers are and where the budget lines are for this project for the summer. hopefully have a timeline for, so you get, we can let the residents know prior to the event starting.
We really don't have much for next month then.
Right now, I don't,
Balls rolling.
if this, the summer help, everything comes good there. These projects are all in line. Like I said, I don't see anything coming up, and I definitely can email you guys with any huge concerns that come up in the next month.
So, anybody have any agenda items? You guys have anything? So tentatively, the next meeting, if we need to have one, will be on the 19th of March, but I will for sure let you guys know.
What time would you,
Well, the first dibs, because nobody's here that day, right?
correct,
So what time works for you guys?
probably put the PPL on the same date, so whatever you don't, I probably will.
If we have a meeting, it should only be like 30 minutes.
I
That,
agree, sir.
so.
4 and 4:30, or is that too early, too late? I don't know.
Sure.
That works for me.
That's up,
4 to 4:30?
that work for you, every
Mhm.
schedule? That way we could start the PPL if we can start at 4:30.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
But I will for sure, I gotta make a phone call to find out when I'm heading out of town. So if it is that Wednesday, we might have to pivot a little bit, but as of right now, it'll be 19 March 4.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Without objection, I adjourn meeting at 5:31.
Thank you.